Welcome back to a movie review with just yours truly, Corey's wife, Nicole, because Corey is at church by himself because the boys are sick. And this is one of my favorite Christmas mugs. I am only a morning person on December 25th. Absolutely the truest thing I have ever read or seen on a mug. So, to jump right into it, the other day I was bored, and how you're bored with 5 kids, I don't know, but I was, and it was rainy and dreary outside, and everyone's had these colds that are lingering, and the boys were all watching their own movies and TV shows, and I thought, why not whip out a movie with one of the best, most beloved actresses that I hold dear in my heart. I don't know about her political values, but as far as her acting, I love her. America's sweetheart, Sandra Bullock. And this particular movie is called Premonition. The budget for this movie was $20 million. It grossed $47 million approximately in the US and Canada. Actually, more like $48 million. The opening weekend was March 18th, 2007, and the gross worldwide was 84,000 something. Reality is only a nightmare away is the tagline. It is 1 hour, 36 minutes long, and stars our favorite leading lady, Sandra Bullock, and this guy whose name was in the movie, his name was Jim Hansen, and the actor's name was Julian McMahon. So the IMDb score, we have 5.9 out of 10. Not very good. And then the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes was 8%. And the audience score, I forget exactly what it was. I think it was like 50-something percent. So also not very good. Pete Hammond of Maxim magazine, not my favorite magazine, says a gripping psychological thriller that will have you guessing from start to finish. So I'm going to talk about kind of the plot of this movie. Obviously, it's pretty old. It's from 2007. So I am going to give spoilers because I want to debrief about this movie because there's some things that I love about it, and there's some things that really bug me. So one of the things that a lot of the critics pointed out on Rotten Tomatoes that bugged a lot of people was the acting from the guy who played her husband, the acting by the guy who plays her husband, Julian McMahon. His acting style, at least in this movie, I haven't seen him in anything else, is very wooden and not very genuine, and he's not very expressive at all. So they're supposed to be in this marriage that is basically kind of lifeless, and they're basically like roommates at this point, but they have 2 little daughters, and she's like already kind of depressed and not happy with her life, and he seems like he's just going through the motions also. But even knowing that, his acting performance still was just pretty boring. It kind of makes you wonder like what he really offers or what you really see in this guy. I mean, it does show some happier times, like when they first move into their home and stuff like that, but overall, I think that this movie would have been a lot better, first of all, if either a different actor were cast or if he would have just given like a more exciting performance, or maybe more genuine, or show more emotion or something. But basically, she does do a really good job acting, and basically she is going through the motions of her day, which is pretty typical. Just drop off her daughters at school and then come home and do chores like laundry. And then all of a sudden she gets this weird voicemail on her answering machine from her husband saying, I meant what I said the night before in front of the girls. And then she's like, okay, that's a weird message. And then all of a sudden there's a police officer at her door, or sheriff or whatever, saying like, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, but your husband died in a car accident yesterday, and I couldn't get to you any faster than right now. And he tells her like the mile marker where the husband died and everything. So obviously she's really upset. And then like the day ends, but then the next day she wakes up in her bed and like he's alive again or something like that. So basically it's kind of like Groundhog's Day, but not. It's this weird like psychological thriller where like every day that she wakes up she doesn't know if he's going to be like, if Jim, her husband, is going to be alive or if he's dead now. And then she has to start like piecing the days together to try to figure out like, okay, like what day of the week is it and is he going to be alive or dead on this day, and like if she can somehow on the days that he's alive, if she can do something during those days to stop his like imminent eventual death. And it does get pretty like freaky. There's no like horror really, so I appreciate that about this movie. I think it's only rated like, yeah, it's PG-13. So there is like one scary part where her older daughter gets all these cuts all over her face, and then like she comes up to her from behind and the daughter's on the swing set and she turns her around and she's like, oh my gosh, what happened to your face? And that's probably like the scariest part in the whole movie for me. Well, except for the part with the car and him. Yeah, anyways, we'll talk about that later. But basically not knowing like what happened to the daughter and like why her face is all cut up is kind of traumatic. And so that's why I didn't like watch this in front of my kids, because it is PG-13 and they're not old enough to see it yet. But it is suspenseful, which I do appreciate. They do a good job, like a really good job building the suspense. And like I said, Sandra Bullock's acting in this is really good. Like I really like her as an actress, obviously. I've been saying that before. And I've been calling her America's sweetheart for a really long time. And I kid you not, like one time I called her that and Corey's like, she is not America's sweetheart. Like no one calls her that. And then like literally that night on the news, it was like Inside Edition or something was on, and they were like, "Oh, next we're gonna talk about America's sweetheart, Sandra Bullock." Like I kid you not, it was the same day. So, anyways, to me, she totally is. But anyways, tangent aside, what the heck was I even saying? So see, this is why I need Corey here to balance me out, because I don't even remember what I was saying anymore. Oh, basically, yeah, it's not for kids unless they're like 13 or up and they can handle like suspense. But it's not like graphic or like there's no horror. So that's good. So those are the things about it that I like. And then there is the psychological aspect of her like wondering if she's just going crazy because she finds medication in her bathroom. And like one of the days she wakes up and it's Jim's funeral, and she's like, how long have I been asleep? Because like everyone was letting her sleep upstairs, and downstairs was like the aftermath of his funeral and like everybody visiting, and you know how they visit at the house afterwards with like food and stuff like that. And so, and then she sees she's been taking like this lithium. So she's like, oh, like I'm getting medicated. And then like she's freaking out because, you know, obviously her reality is crazy. And like one day she wakes up and he's alive, and another day she wakes up and he's dead. And she's been like telling people about this. So then they basically have her committed to the loony bin because, you know, they think she's going crazy. And then the mom's like, you know, yeah, what happened to the daughter? Like, what happened to her face? And she's like, I didn't do anything. Like, I'm a good mom. And anyway, so later on, you end up finding out that it was raining and on another day, and the mom was like, run outside to the clothesline and get the clothes off the line. And so the little girl didn't realize that the door was closed, the sliding glass door was closed, and so she runs through it. So that's how she gets all the cuts all over her face. But anyway, so that was reassuring because it was really scary at first. But basically, she ends up figuring out like how all these days of the week are coming together, and that she had gone to the psychiatrist and got this medication that he had prescribed to her because he thought maybe she was just losing her marbles. so she pieces all this stuff together. She figures out that her husband was on his way to this hotel room to like go cheat on her with his coworker, which is really sad. And then like the night before all that's gonna happen, she and him have like this tender moment and stuff. And then the next day she calls him on the phone while he's driving, and he's just like, and he's just like, I have something to tell you. And she says like, oh, you know, I know about this other woman and stuff. And he's like, well, I thought that was what I wanted, but it's not what I want. I want to work on like our marriage and our family. And so you're like, oh my gosh, thank God, like this is so sweet. And then she's like, do you trust me? And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, you know, because he's at mile marker 220 where he died, and then in the car accident. And so she's like, turn the car around. So then he starts to turn the car around, and she's driving in the car behind him, and they're on the phone together. Well, when he turns the car around, then he stops in the middle of the highway because the car stalls out. And then she's screaming at him on the phone, like, get out of the car, get out of the car. And he just, like an idiot, he just keeps trying to start the car, and it's not starting. And it's like, are you freaking kidding me, guy? Like, get out of the freaking car. Like, you are going to die right now. Like, and it really bugs me. Sorry, something keeps popping up. It really bugs me how she's not, like, more clear. Like, you're going to die. You're going to freaking die. Like, get out of the dang car right now, dude. Like, quit trying to start the car. Stop. He just wastes so much time on that. And then this semi truck comes behind him and is going out of control and hits him. And then she's running towards the car, thinking maybe she can get him out still, I guess. And then the whole freaking thing just blows up. The car, the semi truck, everything just blows up into a big ball of fire. And he's definitely dead. Really, really dead. And and you're just left thinking, like, oh my gosh, like it was like an M. Night Shyamalan. Like, you know how the M. Night Shyamalan movies used to be really good? Like, The Sixth Sense was amazing, and that other one, Signs, was decent. And then after that, it was like all his movies, I'm sorry, but this is a truth bomb. Like, all his movies would just build the suspense, like, really well, but then leave you hanging and thinking, like, why did I waste my time? Because, like, it's not a happy ending, you know. It's very fatalistic. Like, you're left feeling like, you know, nothing matters. Like, no matter what she did, this was the outcome that was going to happen. Like, it's very ironic because she spends the whole movie trying to figure out, like, you know, like, if she lets him die, is that the same thing as killing him? Is it better if he just dies, since, you know, this is stuff that she says, since he was going to cheat on her anyway with the coworker. And then when they're finally in a better place and they're like, okay, we're going to work on our marriage, and she, you know, really wants to save him. Well, the whole time she really didn't want him to die. But anyways, yeah, he still dies, and you're left thinking, all right, why did I waste an hour and 36 minutes of my life? And as a mom, I had to pause this movie 57 million times because I was nursing and washing dishes, making meals, giving people medicines. Like, I paused this movie and restarted it 100 million times. I know I said 57 million before, but whatever. I paused it a whole bunch of times and kept going back to it throughout the day, and I just felt like, why did I waste so much time on this? So, in a nutshell, basically, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 because it was suspenseful, and I did enjoy that aspect, but I just wish, like, there should be, like, an alternate ending or something where his life gets saved, because it would almost make up for the fact that his acting was just so bad. And he just acted so boring and Like, really? Are you really a dad and this is the woman you love and these are your daughters? Like, come on. Give a better performance than this. Make me believe it. So anyways, Premonition, 3 out of 5. Might be worth a watch, but now I told you the ending, so Sandra Bullock, you're probably not going to watch this, but if you did, yeah, next time, make sure it's a happy ending. A little too fatalistic for most of us. So, all right, that's it. 15-minute review. Probably the longest review on Corey's channel. All right. Love you, Sandra Bullock. Sorry, this movie was kind of a flop. Have a great day, everybody. Happy New Year, 2025 in a few days. Let me know. What should I watch next? I need something happier. I like suspense, no horror, no torture. Just something a little happier, a lot happier, and with better actors. All right, till next time. We'll see you then.